Good evening, Padawans and Padawans. It is I, the Redneck JT, and I am back once again on your Monday night. You know what that means? Two Ewoks in the Park is back once again. Tonight, the geek, Mr. Sully, and myself, are going to be reviewing episode 6 of Acolyte. Good stuff. So, do me a favor. Get yourself your favorite adult beverage or whatever it is you want to drink, something to munch on, sit back in that beanbag chair and enjoy the ride. You know why? Because, Sully, it's all yours.
Oh, I thank you, sir. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Two Ewoks in the Park. Like the redneck said, I am Sully, I am the geek, and we are talking about episode 6 of The Acolyte. Yes. Yes.
Interesting episode.
Very interesting indeed.
I want to say hi to Mr. Bunky. Just joined us in the chat room. Good to see you, sir.
What's up, sir? How are ya? Apparently, I still got some of my work stuff out. So I put it down.
How
Slowly
dare
getting my desk clean here. Slowly.
Right.
But that's besides the point. So come on in, have some fun with us. We've got some interesting things going on in Acolytes. Audience score for this show continues to drop drastically.
Really?
Oh yeah.
That surprises me. It really does.
It doesn't surprise me at all. I wish I could be surprised on this, but it doesn't surprise me. And that's, yeah, again, it's a matter of opinion when it comes to it. And like JT and I always say, we respect everybody's decision. And as a Star Wars fan, I have some gripes for myself as a Star Wars fan. I also have some likes. Is it gonna be the end all be all of a series? No. But I like what they're doing. I like the story.
I do too.
I like the story so far. And it's,
I mean, to me, it kind of feels like, this has turned into, not just the thing about the Acolyte and Osha and May and all that, but it kind of feels like a bit of an origin story for the Sith.
Well, yes,
a bit of one.
No,
a little bit.
It's not a 100% origin story.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it feels like it's just a bit of an origin of the origin of the Sith. I mean, this goes back further than anything ever has before.
Well, yes. When it comes to Star Wars, yes. And again, it's not the end all be all, folks.
Right. Which it's not expected to be.
It's just a story taking place in the galaxy.
Right. Thousands of years ago.
So my opinion is chill out and just enjoy it. Or at least try to enjoy it. If you can't enjoy it, that's fine too. It's not your cup of tea.
Then shut your mouth and go away.
Right.
Well,
no, you know what? No, don't really shut your mouth. But
right.
Is this going to be better than The Mandalorian? No, it's not better than The Mandalorian.
No, not even close.
Is it better than Andor? No.
Again, not even close.
Is it cool that it's another story? Yes.
Yeah.
Is it a good thing that it's not about the Skywalker family? Absolutely.
It's nice to be outside of the Skywalker realm,
which I've been saying for years. Because
go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, for me, you know me, I like origin stories.
Yes.
I like to find out about the story behind the story. And this is kind of the story behind the story behind the story.
Well, no, not
So
really.
for me, it's cool.
Not really.
You
I mean,
know?
yes, it takes place, 100 and something years before the fall of the Republic, but
Mm-hmm.
is it a 100% origin story? No, it's not.
Well, no, I'm not. That's just it. I'm not saying it is,
Right.
but it's a bit of it. It's one piece
And
in the 1,000-piece puzzle.
and it's the other thing is it's going with the rules set forth, and some people will say no, it's not. There's a Wookiee Jedi. There was a Wookiee Jedi in Clone Wars. Go back and watch it. So, Jedi Wookiees are few and far between, but they do exist.
Yep.
Just putting it out there.
Even I knew that.
Yeah. Just
Even I
putting it
knew
out
that.
there. And there's more that's happening that and again, this is just my opinion. There's more from this that's being brought back into canon, because you have to remember when Disney took over, they created canon and they created legends. And as a Star Wars fan who's read the books, read the comics, watched the movies, to me, everything that happened in the comics and the novels should be canon, not legend. So I get it. I do. I get it. But Dave Filoni is doing what he can to bring it back up to speed. Okay?
And doing a good job, I think.
I think he's doing a pretty damn good job, if you ask me. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
He's doing what he can with what he's given with.
Right.
And in all honesty, he's doing a lot better than Kathleen Kennedy. Nothing against her, because she's a great producer, but she should not be touching Star Wars. Leave it to people who know Star Wars. Well, in this case, we start off directly after the episode 5, which we've seen May and Osha switch positions, mostly because of May. She did her whole switcheroo where she cut her hair and changed her clothing. Smart move, by the way, because my
got to
thought
do the
was
switcheroo to try to fit in.
well that and take out Soul. She wanted to take out Soul.
Mm-hmm.
So Osha wakes up in a makeshift bed on a cave on a planet that we have no idea where it is.
Somewhere in the universe.
Somewhere in the galaxy. Unknown planet is what they called it. Unknown planet.
Yeah, I saw that. I'm like, interesting.
I wonder what the planet this is,
Right.
She finds that the wound that she had was all taped up and bandaged. Someone took care of her. And there was a pot cooking some stuff, Get some water.
Bubble, toil, and trouble.
Yeah, she gets some water. She kind of, gets a sense of where she is. And, she notices things in the cave. When she goes out of the cave, that's when she realizes that she's not where she was.
Right.
But instead, she's now overlooking a seaside with a couple of islands. And the waves are crashing on a beach, and it looks lovely. But then she sees the stranger's ship, the Exile 2, is what they called it, and it's parked on a nearby island. So in order to get to it, you got to swim, no matter what, or take a boat. Take your pick.
Right. But I didn't see any boats floating around nearby.
No, there were no boats. There were none. There were none. But that's when she sees the stranger walking down the beach. And that's when she kind of does her cloak and dagger thing of, trying to sneak up on him because.
Right. But you didn't talk about the most important part of this whole thing.
What part? We're just doing what we saw at the beginning.
The skura.
Oh yeah, the skura on the cave floor.
The
really?
elephant, rock, and anteater combination little creature that thing was cute.
You want one, don't you?
Yes, I do. They're cute. I'd take one or two.
It's basically a duck with a snout.
Oh, it's a rock with a head and an elephant snout.
True. But how is that
cute
most
little
important?
thing, though,
That's not really most important. that's more of
I don't know why, but I feel like it was important to get that in there.
if it attacked her, that's a different story. It didn't attack her.
But it was really cute when it ran away when she saw the one in the cave.
It waddled like a penguin.
He's like, well,
and it just scurried away.
Away. That's why they call it a skura.
Yeah, well, true.
Because skura's scurry.
That's true. Now, the other thing is, while this is all happening and Osha starts following the stranger, we see Master Soul on his ship on Kafar. And he's trying to send out an emergency code. Hey, everybody's dead, that type of thing. And then it's just him and Osha.
0.
Everybody dead. My whole team had died. They have died. And May, who is posing as Osha now, is walking throughout the ship because we know her true intention. She wants to take out Soul. That's the goal.
Well, I mean, 3 out of 4 on her list are dead.
That's true. Very, very true. So as Soul's reporting everything of what's going on, they're having some communication issues. And Basil, the cute little ferret-looking thing, good old Basil, he's still going, hey, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're not.
Still sniffing the little robot thingy. I can't think of its name.
Yeah.
Sniffing sniffing the air. Yeah, what's going on here?
Well, if you remember, he's a what was it? A Tynan? A Tynan. Where he did,
I think that's.
I'm pretty sure it was a Tynan. Tyannan. Tynnan, maybe?
Yep. Tynnan.
There you go.
He's a Tynan tracker.
Also known as a really smart dog with a ferret face. But he looks adorable.
Really smart ferret. I'll go with really smart ferret.
Really smart ferret.
Yeah.
Never send a ferret to do a weasel's job. In this case, you wanted this person to do what he was doing because he knows
that May, right?
That May is Osha and Osha is May. That they did the swap because he can smell her. And while Soul is trying to get things to work, May joins him, and he's like, "Listen, we gotta fix this." We see the holo projector, it goes in and out, and he's like, "We were ambushed. It's a bigger threat, and communications is just boom, not good." But he tells her, once everything goes down, can you go fix that? Because he knows. And to be honest...
No, he says he needs to go reset it and tells her to take over the ship.
True.
Take command.
True. Well, after he leaves... May takes the ship into space and docks with the hyperspace docking. Basically, it's just a hyperdrive that connects to the ship.
Yeah.
Which is fine. But Pip is with Basil, and Basil is attempting to reactivate him because Pip knows who Osha and who May are. But Basil also knows that he can use Pip to his advantage. Dun, dun, dun. Well, from there, we go back to the unknown planet where Osha is following the stranger. And we see the stranger get undressed and go for a little swim. He's basically taking a bath. Now,
Basically.
I will
Without
tell you
soap.
this. I believe, what was it, episode 1 or episode 2? There has been more topless men in recent days for film and TV shows for Star Wars than ever.
I would have to agree.
Want to say hi to Will. Hello, sir. Hope down south is treating you good. Now, here's my thing,
Texas.
and this is why I say this. We've seen Kylo Ren without a shirt on. We've seen Fander without a shirt on. And now we see the stranger without a shirt on. And don't get me wrong, in Return of the Jedi, there were people without shirts on at Jabba's palace. I get it.
But that was a little different. You know, they
Yes.
were slaves, most of them.
Yes,
So,
this was... I need to show off my abs and my muscles because I'm a Jedi.
yeah. I think it was episode 2 with Fandar.
I think so, too. I think you're right. Will says it's hot as hell down there.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no picnic up here, man. Trust me.
Yep.
And don't get me wrong, I get Florida weather. Oof. So anyway, the stranger is currently swimming, and we notice a scar going down his back. That's a pretty brutal lightsaber scar. I don't care who you are, that shit had to hurt. Okay?
Oh, we were wrong, sir. It is episode 1. I actually
Well, I
looked
said
it up.
1. I said it was either
That's
1 or
it.
2. Didn't I?
Yeah.
Pretty sure I did.
He says, yet with all that was going on, the first episode stopped the action briefly to include a shirtless scene for Yord Vandor.
Yeah. Because I'm a Jedi and that's what I do.
It's a brief scene, but it caught fans' attention because it seemed like an odd inclusion
Right?
at first.
It was very
Was kinda
weird.
weird. Yeah, it felt weird.
I mean, to me,
This one
it
did
was
too,
like-
really.
To me, it was weird.
Hmm.
It was just weird.
I mean, that's like wanting to see Will without a shirt on. Come on. That's like wanting to see me without a shirt on.
Oh,
I don't
poor
even want
Will.
to see me without a shirt on.
Poor Will. What did he ever do?
Will became a friend and a fan.
That's true. Well, of yours, anyway.
Yes.
He's been a friend of mine for quite some time.
Sorry about that, Will.
Just putting that out.
But it got better
there.
when I came online. Anyway,
Just
continue, sir.
saying. You know, I mean, it's there. So anyway,
yes. Anyway,
when it comes down to it, why? In this case, I get it because yes, the stranger is waiting in a pool. He's scrubbing. He's washing himself off. He's getting all the dirt off him, whatever. And Osha notices that his lightsabers are there, and she decides to take it. But the stranger is there going, "Hello, I know you're there.
knew the
Just
whole
saying."
Yeah, he knew the whole time.
Oh,
I mean, there's no doubt in my mind he knew the entire time.
Oh, yeah. And, she gets all defensive with the lightsaber. And she tells the stranger not to move.
Don't move.
Now, the cool thing is, and we've already established, well, at least it's already been established, that he is a former Jedi. We know he's a former Jedi.
Correct.
And while she's doing this, he basically says to her, your lightsaber techniques are actually pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And then he says,
Yeah, gives her tips.
Yeah. And then he says to her, "Where's your lightsaber? Did you leave it behind?" A little bit of a jab at her for leaving the Jedi Order. Because where is her lightsaber? And the only reason why I ask this is because of Ahsoka. Ahsoka left the Jedi Order, but she kept her lightsabers. That's part of their training.
Right.
Their training is they build their own lightsabers. Will asks, did she make one? That's what I want to know.
Well, I'm asking the Wikipedia universe.
Oh, good luck. Good luck with that. Just putting it out there. So while JT's doing that, they start having conversations. They start having a conversation about leaving the Jedi Order and why she left. And he even kind of says, well, listen, you know what? You're not going to do anything to me when I have no clothes on. So why don't I put my clothes on? And you can join me inside and we'll talk. Let's just figure that out first.
Right.
And then he says something really interesting and very un-Sith-like. Oh boy, what'd you find? Because it is a part of their training with the whole building the lightsabers. So
right. Hang on, I gotta find it in here now.
He lost it. Well, while he's doing that,
I followed the link, and now I gotta find it within the where it sent me.
He's going down a rabbit hole, folks. Going down a rabbit hole. So while they're doing that, he invites her to say, hey, listen, you're not going to kill me because of ethics. I'm unarmed, I'm vulnerable, and you're not going to do that. You're not going to kill me. However, if we were in battle, yeah, you probably would have killed me, no problem. Just because of where they were. But it's very un-Sith-like of him to be as calm and cordial as he's being. You know?
He is being very friendly.
Yes, very friendly.
He's not showing any aggression. He's not showing any contempt or anything like that.
Which, don't get me wrong, if you look at the prequels with Emperor Palpatine and Anakin, he was the same way, very friendly, very open. He was, ask me anything. Here I am. Use my knowledge to help you. That type of thing.
Right. Right.
So as they're going through, the stranger even says that, listen, I can't read your thoughts, but your anger betrays my thoughts, which I thought was very interesting that he said it that way.
Right.
And then as he's getting dressed, she's like, "Why'd you bring me here? What's the point of bringing me here? Why did you do it? Am I a prisoner? No." And then this was cool because when she said, "Am I a prisoner?" he goes, "You're the one with the weapon."
Right. I want to say hi to Viking Brewer real quick. She's just coming in, but my 2 cents, I don't think he's Sith. Just a dude who wants to live his own life, not following any real order.
I like that.
Good concept. Good concept.
I like that opinion. That was something that we were like mulling over.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a rebel kind of thing, you know.
Well, not even a rebel. He wants to do his own
outsider.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he wants to do his own thing. And he even mentions that in the conversation with Osha. And actually even the conversation that he had with Soul in the last episode during the battle.
Yep. That's exactly what it says. I want to be free to practice my art without having to answer to the Jedi.
Right.
I want to be free to train an acolyte as well.
The power of two. A master
and by the way,
an apprentice.
When Osha was a Padawan, she did own her own lightsaber. However, upon leaving the Order, she gave it up.
So she did give up her lightsaber.
She turned in her lightsaber when she left the Jedi Order, or the Jedi training. There you go.
I can see that.
Well, she never actually finished her full training.
No. Neither did Ahsoka.
So
Ahsoka never did either.
Right.
But
she felt that she had to give it up, so she gave it up. So.
All right.
There you go. We did find out.
So Osha even goes a step further and says to the stranger, "Hey, did you kill my old master?" And he says, "No, I did not." Then she said, "Well, did you kill May?" And he says, "No, but you seem more concerned about Soul than your own sister."
Mm-hmm.
And then he says, you know, he brings up that whole master apprentice relationship.
Right.
And how the difference between the two of them and her and May are complete opposite directions.
Right.
Which, if you think about it, you know, their master, a Padawan's master, is a father or mother figure. They're their teacher. They're bonded to them until they become Jedi Knights. And even then, as Jedi Knights, they still refer to them as masters because that's their master. That's who they grew up with. Just like if you went to college and you said to, you had a professor, "Hey, Professor Smith, how are you doing?" And 15, 20 years later, "Hey, Professor Smith," that's how you know them.
Yeah.
The ugly duckling. Yeah, you know what, Will? You're not wrong. The ugly duckling.
Well, and to me, you know, from what I saw of May and Osha's childhood, they were close, but they weren't really close. They had a relationship, but it wasn't a good one.
Yep.
There was a lot of tension between the two of them because of how different Osha was from May.
Yes.
So, you know, they had that relationship, and it doesn't surprise me that she would get closer to Saul than May because of what the Jedi Master's purpose is.
Right.
And the training that they have to go through and everything with their master. And the fact that, you know, he was responsible for her life, plus the fact that he saved her as a child.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, it definitely leans the scale towards Saul. Plus the fact she spent most of her life, or most of the last 16 years, at least, thinking her sister was dead.
It's true.
So she gave up that path of thinking.
Right.
Brewer says that he wants to know more about the witches.
We have theories on that.
Yes, we do.
We have theories on
Theories galore, my friend.
And one of those theories involves oh boy.
You sure you want to go there right now?
Yeah, let's not go down that rabbit hole. I'm
Not right now.
You know what? I'm gonna just give him a little bit of a taste that's gonna make him do an aha moment of the Night Sisters. The Night Sisters.
Think about it.
Enough
Think
said.
about it, bro. Enough said.
Night Sisters. So back on Kafar, well, above Kafar, Soul's ship docks with the transport ring, and they're doing what they need to do, and Soul hugs May, believing she's Osha. Thank you. The stranger corrupted your sister, blah, blah, blah. And he's now challenged by this person that he has to tell the Jedi Council everything, no matter what. He needs to let them know that the Sith are back. Or at least one Sith is back, out of hiding, and this is what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, May is kind of, reluctant a little bit because she's trying to be Osha at the same time.
Right. Right.
And that's when the ship has a power failure. However, at the Jedi Temple, Master Roa, she's talking with Senator Raincourt, if I remember correctly, Raincourt. Raincourt, he's. I mean, this really.
She's actually she's talking to Senator Shuant about Raincourt.
Was she?
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You're right. I got the names wrong. I mixed them up.
Right.
That was my fault.
Easy. Hey, the redneck does it all the freaking time, man. I mean, just think about it. North to oregano, my friend.
That is true. Very true. But at the same time, every single character, whether they're in a background or not, has a name, has a backstory, like you name it.
Mm-hmm.
Even the little droid that sits in the corner of the room in the Jedi Temple has a name. So keeping up with the names is a little, whoa.
You do a hell of a lot better than I do.
I try. There's just so much out there. There really is.
It is. There is. Yeah.
Well, anyway.
Eventually, there's so much it just kind of muddles together.
Yeah. It's like, how do you remember this? Well, I don't know. I just did. But Shuant, like you said, wants to warn his colleagues about what's going on. And if that's the case, then an external review of the Jedi Order is going to happen, which means the Senate's now going to get involved, and the Jedi don't want that. The Jedi do not like doing politics. They never have. They never will. It's just, it is what it is. They're not senators for a reason. They're a peacekeeping force.
Right.
Well, Roa is concerned that Raincourt's campaign is going to put fear against the Jedi, which means shit's going to hit the fan, and we don't want that either. So right now they're in a catch-22. Do we tell them about it, or do we not? Because if we do, then this is going to happen. If we don't, then this is going to happen. Well, shit. What's the lesser of two evils, you know?
Right.
Viking Brewer, you mean you don't remember the name of the dude who stood behind Luke on Hoth in the fourth scene? I don't. But he has a name.
Give him time and he will.
He has a name. I guarantee it.
You'll get a message at 3 o'clock in the morning, Brewer. His name was so-and-so.
Well, it's true. Sorry, I needed a drink.
Yeah.
And even Will says, small evil that I could punt. Yes.
It was neat though when she voiced her concern because she wants look, I don't think you even have to worry about it because the Jedi have always been transparent with the Galactic Senate.
Right, but you also got to remember that Raincourt is an up-and-coming senator.
Yeah, he's just grasping for power.
Well, that and
he's one of those trying to make a name.
Yes, exactly.
Trying to make a name for himself.
Trying to get ahead of people who have been senators for much longer than he has. And getting to that point of, well, listen, if I can do this, then maybe, just maybe, they'll let me be Supreme Chancellor.
Right.
So we're seeing things. We're seeing things here. At the same time, Roa goes, okay, sorry, Senator, gotta go. Because Magadana showed up. Yes, that is another Jedi. Magadana. Looks nothing like a Mog, by the way. For those that are Spaceball fans, you know what a Mog is. Half man, half Mog, half dog. I'm my own best friend. But he lets them know that, hey, there's something going on. Master Soul sent a distress call from the Outer Rim territories. And you could kind of tell he had a little bit of fear on his face.
Well, wouldn't you? Under the circumstances and what they got from the message, wouldn't you be a little bit worried?
Well, I think he's more worried for the fact that in the recorded message, Soul mentioned that everybody died except for him. The whole team was dead.
But a little bit forward in the episode, he literally says, how could somebody kill a team with so much power?
Yeah. But we'll get into that.
Yeah, but I mean, I can understand him having a little bit of fear on his face or worry in his voice or, in his body motions and stuff. Because, you get a message that an entire group of people that you knew were killed. You're going to be like, wait a minute. How the hell did that happen?
Yeah.
So it's understandable.
Completely understandable. But at the same time, Jedi really aren't supposed to show any type of fear.
They're not supposed to, but we see it all the time.
Fear leads to suffering.
And suffering leads to darkness.
Dun, dun, dun. But it's okay to have those feelings. You shouldn't, but it's okay. And Roa says, well, all right, we need to get a team. We're leaving now. We're going to Kafar now. And Adana goes, wait, how do you know where he is? Huh? What? And all she simply says was, I sent him there. And that's it.
Yep.
I sent him.
Good answer.
That was a very good answer if you think about it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Very good answer. Back to the unknown planet with Osha and the stranger. They're walking along the beach. They're going for a nice little stroll. This is a really good heart-to-heart if you think about it.
Very interesting conversation.
Very interesting indeed, especially since she questions him about being a Jedi. And he said yes, a very long time ago. So now the question is, how old is he really? Because, he only looks like he's 25.
Right.
But she also says that she's never heard of him. So now we're like, okay, he was a Jedi before Osha, And they never said anything about him. Which brings me to the fact that I think Soul knows who he is, or at least has an inkling of who he is.
Right.
But he's not 100% sure. So the stranger kind of says, well, you know, it was a long time ago and things are different now. And then she goes, well, why are you here? Like, why are you on this planet? What brings you here? And he throws it back. He goes, you know what? I'm pretty interested in you. Just like everybody else. Yeah. That's right. He pulled that card because May has already made a name for herself and everybody's already thought that OSHA was the one that did it. So, Viking Brewer in a galaxy far, far away. Yes, a long time ago. He was a Jedi in a galaxy far, far away. Yes. Well, the stranger, kind of avoiding the question, but also answering it at the same time, because OSHA says that Master Soul will find her through the Force. He's strong with the Force, and he, without missing a beat. Now, this is where the Sith comes into play. This is where Sith comes into play here. Because the stranger says, no. It's not him that is strong in the Force. It's her. She has strength in the Force. Which is very interesting because as of late, she can't deflect anything. She can't push back. She's forgotten all of her Jedi training. Except for fighting, because clearly she can still do a fighting stance with a lightsaber. And stuff then like he says, but you know what? Someone ought to teach you how to harness your strength in the Force. And oh, by the way, if you want, you might want to start swimming or wait for low tide to go to my ship. And he walks away. He just walks away.
Brewer says that now all he's hearing is the Weird Al song.
Which one? Ha 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 ha. Which one? Yoda or The Saga Begins? Take your pick. Because he's only done 2. I'm a Weird Al guy. Anyway. The fact that he basically just offered her ship because, you know, he can read her thoughts right now. She just stares into it. And then follows him. Follows him down the path of what's going on. While that's all happening above Kafar, May is in the engine room. But she looks a little clueless among the electronics, not like OSHA would be. And that's when she finds Pip. And Pip's charging in a power plug. Basil approaches her from behind and grabs her leg. Now, at one point in time, I thought Basil was humping her leg. But yeah, he just basically grabbed her leg, started stomping on her feet and doing whatever.
Trying to stop her from moving.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, you know, the fact that he doesn't hump her leg proves that he's not a dog.
Also true.
We'll stay with the ferret.
And they do have some class in Star Wars, especially with this new season.
Yes.
Or at least at least the lure of Star Wars. And that's when everything gets, interesting, because May resets Pip to factory settings, finds a body for Pip, and says to the droid, hey, check the ship's power systems. Let's see what's going on. Well, back on the unknown world.
Yeah, we do a lot of jumping around.
Oh, there's a lot of jumping in this. A lot. Osha and the stranger are back in the cave, and she asks what he meant when he said her strength in the Force, not Soul's. And all he replied with exactly what he meant. It's exactly what I meant. You are strong in the Force. You need to be taught to harness it and use it to your advantage.
Right.
But that's when Osha recalls learning about strength in the Force and requiring constant training, or it will fade. And this was the cool thing. And this is why many people out there, not just Star Wars fans, but many people who are diehard Star Wars fans, normally choose wanting to be a Sith in many of the video games that are out there, or cosplay or anything like that. And this was the coolest thing, because he says that is just one way to be taught about using the Force. They only teach one way. But he also states that if Force wielders do not do it their way, it fades. So he's basically telling her there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Pretty much.
Which if you think about it, 100% true.
Yeah. I mean, that's why you have the light side and the dark side.
Well, not only that, and we've seen Force wielders that grasp both.
Ahsoka.
So Ahsoka will still go for the Jedi over Sith.
Yeah. She leans that way, but she experiences both.
Yes. She doesn't harness the dark side, but
Right.
she is one with the Force and very strong with the Force.
Yes.
Very strong.
I mean, I'm sure there's better examples out there, but that one works for now.
Yeah. But this is where he starts teaching her about the Sith side of things and the way they do it. That is, Jedi do it one way, but oh, by the way, your emotions like anger and fear, loss, desire, those are all ways that you can channel using the Force. And she replies
and he got the expected reply, I think.
Oh, absolutely. She got the expected reply. Because she flat out said, well, not for nothing, but that leads you down the path of the dark side.
Interesting reply.
Yeah.
By him here. When he just simply looks at her and says, semantics.
Yeah.
Really? That's all you're going to say about that. Semantics.
But you know what? He's not wrong.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's not wrong when it comes to that.
Not at all.
He's not wrong at all. But see, that's when she says to him, well, you murdered my friends. And he goes,
I killed those who were trying to kill me.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. He killed because they threatened his existence.
Yep. In combat, it's kill or be killed.
Now, the other thing is, she goes, well, you killed Fandar. And he goes, yeah, he had no problem turning you in for a crime you didn't commit.
Oh.
Woo. He knows a lot more than you think, girl. And then she said, but then you killed Jackie Lawn. And he also said, well, you know what? That fight was inevitable. But then he says this. I loved this. Now, mind you, he never got mad. He never got angry. He never raised his voice. He was very calm, cool, and collective.
Very level-headed through this entire conversation.
Which, don't get me wrong, is a little odd for a Sith.
No, it's a little scary.
Well, yeah, that too.
For a Sith.
That too. But he replies with that Osho would have had the same relationship with Lon that she had with Soul. And he even said that is one-sided. Which, yeah, in a lot of ways, yeah, it's one-sided, all right. Absolutely one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
But I love how they were going into the details, because now he's actually teaching her without her knowing.
Yeah.
But she's not giving in either.
Mm-hmm.
And he asks her...
Yes, she's strong in the Force, so she's not just going, she's not just going to fall over and say, oh, you're my mate,
Well, that's when he asked her the question of, why do you love people who can only go so far? Then he gives her a bowl of soup. Want some soup? Here you go. Soup. Let's eat and talk. She denies it, but he even says to her that she's got so much potential that all she's got to do is just unlock it. And she goes, I'm not my sister. I'm not my sister.
And not as easily corrupted.
Absolutely. Which, yes, she may be right. She's not easily corrupted.
Right.
But that kind of got her pissed off a little bit, where she walked out and she's looking over the sea, and he follows her. And he says to her, you're still holding my lightsaber.
Well, I would too. You're in the enemy's cave and you have his weapon.
Yeah.
Are you going to give it back up to him?
Sure. And that's when he really brings out his true Sith. Because he said, well, you know what? You stayed here to do something. Do it. I dare you. Use my own blade against me. Do it. Go for it. And that's when she says, well, you know what? Jedi don't attack the unarmed. And that's when he grabs her. So now he's pushing her now. Because she is still like, I'm good. I'm a Jedi. I'm going to go by their rules. That's what I was taught. You're not going to get away with this. Even though the Jedi rejected her and she walked away, she goes, no, I left.
Yep.
And then he says, why? Why did you leave? What motivated you to take your bag, pack it, and go home? And oh, by the way, I can feel your anger and your pain. Those identify who you are. Now we're starting to see a little bit of Emperor Palpatine in there.
Mm,
Sith Lords, man.
a whole lot of Palpatine in there.
Yeah. But that's
Just
okay.
in the way he talks and the words that he uses.
And that's okay because Palpatine doesn't even exist at this point in time.
Right.
That we know of, anyway. I mean, for one, he's Nubian, so who knows how old they really are. Well, he keeps pushing. Jedi threw you out. Jedi threw you away. No, they didn't. Yes, they did. No, yes, no, yes. And then she yells, but doesn't ignite the lightsaber.
Yeah. So he keeps goading her. Why aren't you a Jedi?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't you a Jedi? Just constantly, repeatedly asking her and asking her, asking her, pushing her buttons.
But then she finally ignites it and knocks him up against the wall with it, the blade right at his neck. And that's when he says, very calmly, I might add, that he lost everything. But he also says, when I lose everything, I became free.
But OSHA said something very interesting that I need more information on, or would like more information on, for them to give it to us.
Mm-hmm.
Is when she ignites the lightsaber and shoves him against the wall, she screams, "Because I failed."
Yes. But did she fail?
What did she, or what is it that she thinks she failed?
I think
that's what I want to know.
I think it pertains to what could possibly have been happening when she was younger.
What about that?
And how she didn't want to be a witch,
Right.
like she wasn't pushing herself to her limit or past her limits.
Or was it the fact that she didn't save her family?
Also true. That could have been one of them too.
And that's why I say I want know a little bit more. And it could be a combination of all that stuff.
Yeah.
She failed her sister by not saving her. She failed the coven by not saving the coven. She failed Saul by not finishing her Jedi training. She failed her friend by letting him die.
Yes.
All these little things that could be just little bits and pieces of all of it. She failed she was never able to control her emotions when it came to all the stuff that happened to her in her childhood. So there's a lot of things that it could be. So,
yeah.
And that's why I say I'd like to know a little bit more about what she feels like that she failed at.
Which I think we'll find out, hopefully. I mean, we do have 2 more episodes left.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do something. Now, while this is happening, the Jedi are back at the Jedi Temple. They're going to the spaceport so they can get together and leave and head out to save Soul and find out what's going on. I don't think that scene was needed at all.
Yeah, a little bit of comic relief, though. That was a pretty intense situation that we've been going through from the beginning of this, of this episode. So a little bit of comic relief in there just to kind of lighten the mood a hair.
Well, listen, I don't need to know if a Jedi Master gets squeamish from hyperspace travel, okay?
No, but I find it funny that she does.
It's interesting. It's funny. It's never been done. But at the same time, did we really need it?
Right.
I personally say no. But
I liked it.
That's the thing. And that's what, that's why we talk the way we do.
It was needed, man. It was just too serious, and we needed a little bit of comic relief.
Yeah.
Like Saturday Night Live on a Sunday.
Well, back on Soul's ship, things are going like crazy. Basil's moving through the corridors and access conduits with a torchlight. May is following him. Soul is calling out to her. And as they get to the bunks, May says to Soul, she ran diagnostics on the ship. Everything had to be restarted. Everything should be back up and running soon. And she says, man, probably about 5 minutes or so, give or take. And Soul is meditating about the stranger's true intentions. And he's also like, how did I not know it was him on Olega?
And I think this is where May gives herself away.
Yes.
Because the words coming out of her mouth are not the words that would come out of Osha's mouth.
True. But there was also Pip.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So May flat out says, you know, the desire can cloud a person's mind and only see what you want to see. The stranger fooled us all. And then he says to her, oh, you found Pip. And then he says, Osha has a wonderful relationship with Pip. Which is weird, even though he's a machine. May says she's always been like that. Even when she was little. So she's going all out of being Osha here. All out.
Mm-hmm.
So as she's pretending to continue to do this, she says that she had to lose a lot of herself to become a Jedi. Even if she didn't know it at the time. Warning! Warning! You just threw yourself under the bus, you idiot. So clearly Saul apologizes and says how could she feel it any other way? And then she says to him, well, can you tell me about everything that happened on Brendok? And even though she was very young, she says, well, I'm not young anymore. I'm a big girl. I could do my own hair and everything. She wants the full story. Which, at the time, that's actually technically a story for Osha. Not May. Although, I would say May would kind of need that conversation too. But it just so happens that at that perfect time, the lights come on, buttons and beeps and all this good stuff. Communication is going through. Master Roa is sending communications saying, hey, we're on our way. May runs in and goes to say who she is, and Soul stuns her. And we see Basil come walking out behind him. Rose says, keep your transponder on. Nope. Turns it off, and they leave. They leave. They jump into hyperspace, and the Jedi arrive right after. Talk about perfect timing.
Would have been one hell of a collision.
Yeah, because they were literally like right next to each other, which is crazy. But hey, you know what? They go down to the planet, and they ask if they've seen any of the other Jedi or strangers, and they say, yeah, they went that way, and some came back, some didn't. Go find them. Go find them. And that's when Master Rose says, all right, well, you know what? They were here. It's this way. We got to go down the hill, through the river, over the river, through the woods, to Grandma's house we go.
Thank you
For what?
for doing that, because if you didn't do it, I was going to do it.
I stole JT's thunder. Again.
Not really thunder, Maybe
But
a slight
this-
aftershock or something, but not
This
thunder.
was interesting to say the least. Because Mog tells Master Roa that an Umbramoth colony hatched last night, terrorized the local settlement. They could have been killed. They could have been near the settlement. We need to go that direction and blah, blah, blah. Well, fast forward as they're walking down the hill, we're back on the island. We're back on the island. There were a lot of jump cuts. Like, there were a lot of different scenes going to and from what's happening in this. And mind you, it was only a 40-minute episode.
Yes.
39 to be exact. 39 minutes. But Osha is finally having some soup. Stranger is repairing his helmet with an electrical tool, and she asks about that helmet. And she says, did you make the same type of pitch to May? And the stranger kind of not really taken aback. He basically just, it was a mistake talking about her because all she wanted was revenge. That's it. That's all she wanted. She didn't care about anything else, just revenge. Which is not what Sith are looking for. They're not. They don't look for that.
Power of two.
The power of two, which, if you remember, the power tool from Tool. It was bound to happen sooner or later.
You skipped over a couple of those so far tonight, and I've let them slide. But yeah.
But that one I got.
Yeah.
Well, the power of two they brought up during the flashback episode of what was the ceremony, right? If I remember correctly.
Yep.
And that's
during the ascension ceremony.
And that's all that he wanted was the power of two. What is the power of two? The power of two is basically your master and apprentice, which is what the Jedi have, only there's a lot more Jedi than Sith. But that's when Osha asks about the scar on his back. And he says, it was caused by someone who threw him away. And that's when she goes, was it your Jedi Master? And then he changes the topic. Now, most Sith would have been like, yeah, it was. Yes, it was. I hate that person. Revenge, I killed him. Which is usually your path to the dark side when you kill, your master, or you just kill younglings like Anakin did. But he changes the topic, and that's when he starts mentioning what his helmet is made of. And it's made from cortosis. It's lightsaber resistant, and it helps with sensory deprivation. So basically, all the thoughts that you can hear are gone, which is a good thing for two reasons. One, it'll help you focus. And two, your opponent or your enemy can't read your thoughts.
And he actually compared it to the helmets that they wore as young Jedi in their training to force, Luke wore one when he was first learning how to wield the saber.
Yep, absolutely. But all the Padawans wear them.
Yeah, what I'm saying, he compares it to that.
Yep. And that's when he says to her, why don't you try it out? Just try it out. Nothing big. And that's when she goes, well, I don't really trust you.
Right.
And he goes, that's okay. You need to learn to trust yourself. And he walks away.
Yep.
Which is why I'm saying he's not your average Sith.
No.
This is different.
Because I like the way he described it, though. You know, when I have the helmet on, it's just me and the Force.
Yep.
Just me and the Force.
Yep.
That's it.
Now, this is a very important scene. Because we go back to Kelnaka's shelter, where the massacre happened. And Master Roa... oh, this was amazing. They find the remains of all the Jedi, and she finds the site of the force push that he did to send everybody back and start the battle. And at first, Mog was like, you think Master Soul did this? She's like, no.
She's like, that is a very big accusation to make.
Yes, very, very big accusation.
Very dangerous words.
Then, as she's looking at everything, she says that their opponent's power was erratic. Which, if you think about it, yes,
Power was extraordinary, but skills were erratic.
Yes. But if you think about it, she's very true on this one. Because not only was he supposedly casted out as a Jedi, but then started training with the Sith, or using his emotions, turning him toward the dark side. He's basically a self-taught master now, if you think about it. So yeah, things are going to be erratic. He doesn't have a master. He doesn't have an acolyte. Simple as that.
The power of two.
And that's when Mog even says that the opponent's sole aim was to leave no survivors. What is going on? And just then an Umbra Moth dives down at them, which we all know Umbra Moths are drawn to light. And finally, we see her use her lightsaber whip.
Never seen one, never heard of one. That was cool as hell.
Now, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because in the comics and some novels, they do exist. Now, the light whip is what they're called. The story goes that Master Rowe, while she was on her reported world where she was stationed with her master, had a dream about the light whip. And she was able to modify her lightsaber to have two modes, a lightsaber mode and the light whip. All she had to do was just turn the knob at the bottom, and it became the light whip, and she was able to do whatever she was able to do with the light whip. She kept it to herself, and yes, I looked this up. So yes, it's there.
Right.
But the main thing is, most light whips were used by the Sith, very seldom by the Jedi. Not unheard of, but yes, they're there. It was a legend. And this is where I say Dave Filoni has been doing whatever he can to bring the legend stuff back into canon. And it's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, since that was cool, we get into the point of, all right, well, we need to get these bodies prepped for burial. So let's go. And we need to pay attention to see why Soul would send a distress signal and where he went, because he's not here. On board his ship, however, May is now restrained on a medbay table. Soul is sitting in the lounge area, and he tells May that he has no intention of harming her. They need to find her master and save Osha. But first, we're going to have a little heart-to-heart.
We need to have a talk.
A talk. That was like...
Those are never good words to hear.
No, never.
We need to talk.
We need to talk, and we need to talk now.
Yeah.
And the best part is he even ended it with, "You're going to listen."
Yep. I like what he said. He says, you know, he has thought about this many times over the last 16 years, thinking of what he would say to her.
Yes.
If they ever met. So in all reality, for all this time, he has had the suspicion that she's been alive and never mentioned it. Never said anything to anybody about it.
Yeah.
So I find that interesting.
Now.
I'm anxious to hear what he has to say to the High Council.
Oh, me too. Me too. Now, back in the cave, Osha is staring at the helmet still. She goes over to it, and she runs her fingers around all the scars and scorch marks from it. But she also notices that in the rock, there's a vein of cortosis nearby.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when she looks over the helmet a little bit more, and then she puts it on. And all you can see is through a little slit. That's it, just a little slit. Now we know what it's like to wear a Mandalorian helmet, by the way.
Right?
Because the slit on the Cortosis helmet was probably a little bit smaller than what a Mandalorian is.
It's a lot smaller than what's in a Mandalorian's.
So she puts it on, and all you see is the light through the helmet, and it's just so narrow, and then it fades out.
All you hear is her breathing.
That's it.
Panic breathing, stressed breathing,
Mechanical breathing.
But calm at the same time.
Yes.
Very interesting end to that episode.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff went on in this episode. A whole lot of information came out.
Some needed, some not needed.
Right. Well,
so
it's just like going out to karaoke. You take the good with the bad.
So, well, yes.
You know, we had some neat moments like the reveal of the lightsaber whip.
Yep, the light
whip. Or the light whip, whatever you want to call it. You know,
what?
I'm not sure about this episode. I like the episode. It's a good episode. Like I said, you know, a lot of information revealed, a lot of backstory revealed, mainly on, obviously, the stranger.
Yep.
Things just feel weird to me.
Okay.
When it comes to what's going on between the stranger and Osha, as well as what's going on between Saul and May.
Yes.
Now, Saul and May is a little bit more understandable.
Yeah.
Because it's just, he finally wants to talk about what's been eating him up for 16 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the situation with the stranger and Osha, kind of weird to me. But at the same time, the biggest brag for a Sith would be to take somebody who is Jedi trained and bring them to the dark side.
True. It's happened before.
So, it has. And the question is, will it happen again?
Very true. But the other question also becomes,
Hmm.
is it really going to the dark side or not?
Right. Bringing her, because like we said, he's kind of wants to be kind of an outsider kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
So
it's an interesting episode. There's a lot going on, but it doesn't feel rushed. Yes, there's a lot of jump cuts, and like I said to you before we came on air, it slowed the pace down a little bit. We've been on the go
yes.
almost constantly since the series started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And everything. So it was nice to kind of have a little bit of a slowdown, but it makes me wonder about how fast we're going to go in these next 2 episodes.
Yes.
So overall, well, it's tricky for me on this one. I mean, not having the knowledge that you have and everything. I'm going to go 3 3/4, 3.75.
All right. All right.
For this episode.
All right.
But I enjoyed the episode.
Well, you know what? We're not really that far off. I was going with a 3.5. Mostly because of everything that was going on. You're cutting from one to the other, from one to the other, one to the other, one to the other. And that's fine. It's fine. It helped move the story along. I don't think we needed to know if Master Roa got sick or nauseous from light speed travel. I just don't think we needed that.
Right.
I think
she got unsettled.
Yeah, I
Is the
think
word
it
that was
was.
used.
I think it was a little pointless for that. I like the reversal of Osha and May that's going on right now. Where they're going with it, I have some theories.
Oh God!
I think some of it's gonna be a cop out in the end.
Think so?
Yeah, yeah, and
See,
I think they're going to reveal the stranger's name soon.
I already know it.
But it's going to be, for us Star Wars fans, I think it's going to be a cop out.
Think so?
Yes. I do. I really wish I could say that it wasn't going to be cop out. I have this
Strange feeling down in your gut.
yeah. I really do. And it's never a good thing when I get that feeling.
Okay, Gibbs.
Well, it's not even that. It's just like when it comes to Star Wars, I know so much about Star Wars.
Yeah.
The legends, the canon, like I know a lot of things about it.
Yeah.
And it's just I don't want them to disappoint the fans. You know,
At this point, can the fans really be disappointed since the rating is so low?
yeah. I just think it's gonna end up being a cop out, and I don't want it to be a cop out.
Right.
So, yeah. I just, yeah. We'll see what happens, but
Only time will tell.
I am giving it a 3.5. So as of now, since the only real name that he goes by is Sith or Khmer, I think eventually we're going to get the name, which is fine. We only have 2 episodes left. So 3.5 for me for this one. Not very high, but, kept the story going, which was good.
Right. We
need a little work on some of the acting. That's a whole nother ball game. But I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
I
don't think the acting is as bad as you do. I think some of it is actually playing into the awkwardness of the situations within the show.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with you on that one. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. So
Time will tell, as the saying goes.
So with that, my friends, that is the end of this week's episode of Two Ewoks in the Park. We will be back next week for episode 7 at 8 p.m. Eastern. And for those tuning in and want to laugh tomorrow, you are more than welcome to do so by joining us on the Sully Show. It's real simple, real easy. We help you forget about life for 2 hours and have some fun. I already took a look at the prep sheet. I didn't read anything, but our partner in crime, Lady Death, has assured me that everything is all set and ready to go for tomorrow night. So, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/accidental punch, Facebook, X, Kick, DLive, YouTube, we're everywhere. Take the link, spread the word, and have some fun. For the redneck, there he is. Say hi, JT, because we're going to leave. We're going to leave. We're going to say goodnight and all that good stuff, and it's going to be wonderful. So, for the redneck, I am the Geek Sully. We will be back next week for Two Ewoks in the Park, episode 7 of The Acolyte. Have a great night, and may the Force be with you. Oh, yes. May the Force be with you.